Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Tuesday, March 30th. We're going to be talking some NBA DFS picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for today. But before we get started, I'm going to take a quick look back at yesterday's picks and kind of see how they turned out. So on the DraftKings side, we had Russell Westbrook, $11,000, looking for 55 points out of him. He got to 94.5. That was just pretty much an unreal night out of him yesterday, so it was a massive hit. You definitely needed Russell Westbrook in your lineup to cash yesterday. Then at shooting guard, we had Sheev Mikhailu. He was $4,000, looking for 20 points out of him. Got to 21.75, so he was a hit. Then at small forward, we had Denny Advia. $3,400, 17 points is what we were looking for out of him. He got to 24.5, so he was a hit. Kelly Olynyk, who was my later pivot options after Christian Wood wasn't starting, $4,400, looking for 22 points out of him, got to 44.75, so he was definitely a massive hit as well. And then the one miss on the DraftKings side was Moses Brown, $6,800, looking for 34 points out of him, got to 24.75, so that was a miss. So pretty good day overall on the DraftKings side. Then we'll move over to the FanDuel side, and we had Ja Morant. $7,100, looking for about 35, 36 points out of him. Got to 28. He was a mess. It was a really good matchup for him, just didn't quite pay off. Then one of my pivot options at shooting guard was Terrence Mann, $4,100. And this was actually before Paul George was ruled out too. So you're looking for about 20, 21 points out of him. Got to 33.2, so he was definitely a hit there. Then at small forward, we had Denny Advia on the FanDuel side as well. $3,600, looking for 18 points out of him. Got to 23.1, so he was a hit. Then Domantas Sabonis, who I said was a good value going into the day, $8,800, got to 58.2, so he was a hit. And then Moses Brown was also a miss on the FanDuel side. We were looking for about 33 points out of him, got to 27.8, but still a miss regardless. So overall, pretty hit or miss day. It did end up working out pretty well on the DraftKings side. And then on FanDuel myself, I did have a very good lineup as well. So that was in a single entry $1 contest and got a 230th place there. If you guys want to see that lineup, just let me know. I can leave it down in the comments below. But with that being said, we'll move over to the injuries for today's slate. So we'll start off with the Charlotte Hornets. Obviously, LaMelo Ball still out. Malik Monk, game time decision, looking like he's going to play though. Wizards side, obviously, we're looking at Bradley Beal to see if he's going to play or not. They have a green next to Daniel Gafford as a game time decision. I don't think there's any way he plays today because last night, he messed up his ankle or his knee or whatever it was, and he got carted off on a wheelchair. So I don't think he's playing tonight. But maybe that's just optimistic thinking there from them. Who knows? Bertans and Ish Smith are still out once again. If Bradley Beal doesn't play, you're looking at guys like Denny Advia once again. If Robinson starts, you can play him. Raul Neto gets some playing time. We even saw Chandler Hutchinson in the rotation last night. So definitely some good pay down options there if Bradley Beal is not ready to go. Then with the Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid and George Hill are both still out. Denver Nuggets, Monty Morris is still out. Whittington and Clark are both game time decisions. We'll see if they play. They shouldn't really matter too much either way, though. Orlando Magic, mainly we're looking at Terrence Ross, game time decision. We'll see if he plays or not. Cole Anthony and Gary Harris are both still out. For the Clippers, Paul George is a game time decision. We'll see if he plays or not. Don't be surprised if Kawhi Leonard sits out on the back-to-back. Maybe they were resting Paul George on the back-to-back yesterday, and then it's going to be Kawhi Leonard today. We'll just have to see if these are real injuries or not. We kind of seen Kawhi Leonard rest on the back-to-back the last time out, and then Paul George on the front half this time. So be real interesting to see what happens. You'll see a load of game time decisions below with Patrick Beverley, Paul George, Serge Ibaka, Rajon Rondo, and Jay Scrubb. We'll see who ends up playing out of this group tonight. Then we move down to the last game, and that is the Atlanta Hawks and the Phoenix Suns. For the Hawks, Chris Dunn, Cam Reddish are both still out. Hunter and Lou Williams are both game time decisions. We'll see if they play or not. Obviously, it changes up the rotation a little bit. And then for the Suns, Abdul Nader is the only one out, so no major changes there at all. But that's a quick little rundown on all the injuries for today's slate. We'll get moved over to DraftKings and talk about my picks over there. So we're going to start off with point guard Russell Westbrook. I like him if Bradley Beal's playing. I like him if Bradley Beal's not playing. Obviously, we've seen the upside yesterday. This man's on fire lately. We're just going to keep rolling with him. He's $100 cheaper today than he was yesterday even, so it sounds kind of crazy when you think about it. So at $10,900, you're looking for about 55 points out of him, averaging about 54 and a half on the season. Goes against the Hornets, who are not the greatest defensive team in the world either. So should be another good night for him once again. Then shooting guard, I'm going with Terrence Mann. This may change once we get some more of that Clippers news, but Tyronn Lue, the head coach, has said he wants Terrence Mann as an important part of the rotation. Hasn't really been starting, but, you're at $4,700, you're looking for 24 points out of him. If he's playing that 24 to the 30-plus minutes that he got last night, I don't see any reason not to play him at this point in time. Small forward, we're going to go right back to Denny Advia. I kind of consider Chandler Hutchinson here too, but I don't know how much he's in the rotation. Maybe it changes a little bit if Bradley Beal plays as well, but Denny Advia is at least starting, so we know he's going to get the minutes. $3,700, you're looking for about 19 points out of him. Definitely achievable. You obviously saw him get about 24 last night, so definitely a guy that you can consider once again today. Power forward, I'm going with Mike Scott, just a cheap pay down option here, $3,300. Looking for about 16.5 points out of him. Between him and Dwight Howard, somebody's got to play in this game, and they got to cover Nikola Jokic. It's not going to be a pretty day for them overall, but even garbage stats count for something. And then we just talked about him, Nikola Jokic, $10,500. You're looking for 53 points out of him, averaging 59.5 on the season. This is a great matchup for him. I think today's just a day that you have to play Russell Westbrook and Nikola Jokic and then just fill out the rest of your lineup elsewhere. But if you go with these 5 guys over on DraftKings, you'll have $16,900 left over, just over $5,600 per player. So you could definitely pay up for a guy and then find 2 cheap value guys, or you can kind of split the wealth here a little bit too as well. There's definitely a lot of different options available to you today. But with that being said, we'll move over to FanDuel and talk about my picks over there as well. So at point guard, we don't have Russell Westbrook. I think Russell Westbrook is a very good play on FanDuel once again as well. If Bradley Beal's out, he's probably my play over here as well. Not trying to double dip as much, but Ben Simmons is also a very good play today. $7,900, looking for about 40 points out of him. That's about what he's averaging on the season. Obviously, Joel Embiid's still not playing. Just a good price spot for Ben Simmons today. Then at shooting guard, we got Devontae Graham. $5,300. This is a pretty good price spot for him as well today, especially on a shorter slate where there's not a lot of value. Looking for about 26, 27 points out of him, averaging almost 26 on the season. Goes against the Washington Wizards, pace-up spot. Not too much else you can ask for in this one for him. Then we move over to small forward, Gordon Hayward. Same thing as Devontae Graham. This is a pretty good price spot for him. Good matchup, good pace in this matchup against the Washington Wizards team. Looking for about 35 points out of him, averaging about 35.5 on the season. Not too much else you can ask for on a day like today. Then we move down to power forward, Ennis Marcus Morris. Had a very good night last night. He's at $4,500. You're looking for about 23 points out of him, averaging just over 20 on the season. Goes against a very good Orlando matchup. We saw his brother get 30 points in this matchup a couple nights ago. So maybe he sees that and he's like, I got to outdo my brother. And if he plays the way he did last night, he's got a chance to do that. And then last but not least, center position, we're going to go with Nikola Jokic. Already talked about him on the DraftKings side. It's a very good matchup for him. I think he's going to have another big day, and I think he's definitely going to be that guy that you need in your lineup tonight. But if you go with these 5 guys over on FanDuel, you have $24,000 left over, $6,000 per player. So you have to be a little bit creative of how you use your money today. There's definitely some other options available out there. If you guys have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to ask me. Definitely here to help you guys out the best that I can. But with that being said, these are my picks for today, March 30th, for both FanDuel and DraftKings. As always, I'll be listing all the news and starting lineups down in the comments below. Definitely be sure to be checking that out throughout the day. And with that being said, if you guys are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It definitely helps build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports. And that's truly one for you, the viewers, helping you guys with your DFS, whether it's NBA or NFL, helping you guys with your fantasy football teams, talking all the different football news this off season. And then I'll be talking some fantasy baseball and some baseball news as well. But with that being said, if you are a new or current subscriber who's yet to do so, also hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. And like I've been saying, I post up daily NBA DFS videos like this. And then I'll be dropping some of that fantasy football and fantasy baseball content in the coming days as well. But with that being said, that's all I got for today's video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed. Hopefully you all do very well in NBA DFS tonight. And as always, if you guys have any questions regarding NBA DFS, especially for tonight's slate, please do not hesitate to ask. Definitely here to help you guys out the best that I can. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching this video. Definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It definitely means a lot to me. And I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.